Hey guys, Crew of Blonde Wave, I'm Aaron.
I'm Aaron.
And we are back with Star Wars The Clone Wars, Part 2 of the Siege of Mandalore. Aaron, last time on Star Wars The Clone Wars, it was an okay episode.
I mean, it was stuff happened, stuff, I don't know. It was great.
It was one of the best episodes of Star Wars The Clone Wars I've ever seen. I loved it so much.
I'm going through and I'm like, oh, the beginning, like, not a lot happened, but it was so much discussion and things that I loved with Ahsoka and Rex and all of them being like, yeah, yes, Commander. It's like, you don't have to call me Commander anymore. I know Commander. And I'm like, oh, I love it so much.
You got it, Commander. Yeah, that was so good. Oh, chills. Then we had Anakin and Obi-Wan rush off because the capital was under attack.
Yes.
Wait, a last moment between Anakin and Ahsoka.
Yeah, and then sabers, and he changed the colors for no reason. Mm-hmm. And then we had the Mandalore stuff starting up.
Yeah,
I love the descent. Like, you need a jetpack, and like, no, and they just jump off, and you're, ah.
Yeah, and then Ahsoka is finally facing off with Darth Maul, and he is disappointed. I thought it would be Kenobi. Why are you here? So good. I can't wait to watch more of Sam Witwer kill it as Darth Maul. Hopefully he doesn't kill it.
Ray Park.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we got Ray Park coming up too. Oh my God, so much. But before we jump into it, we had a poll last time. Aaron, you mentioned how amazing you thought the blue lightsabers were on Ahsoka. That was the subject of our poll. Which of Ahsoka's Jedi lightsaber colors do you prefer? And we are excluding white from this poll. Because there, she is no Jedi.
White.
Okay, so let's see. 60% of people said blue. No. 40% said green.
No.
Morgan Allen says, I voted blue only because it fits better with her look, but we all know that the green lightsaber is the best ever, says Morgan. Well, but you didn't vote for it.
Why'd you vote for blue? It makes no sense. The fool just Aaron or something.
Nicholas says, I like how blue looks over green, but I really want her to get her white lightsabers.
Yeah. See, that guy makes sense.
Yeah, everybody is saying white, but I didn't give you the option.
You monster.
Jason Stewart says, of course, Team Mystic, blue. You can get behind that. It's Pokemon Go.
No.
Ed Smith says, although I like white the best, I like her classic green ones, especially with one being that yellowish green. That off-green one made her lightsaber so unique to her character.
Yes, green. Green was the correct answer.
Billy says, blue is overused in my opinion. I would rather keep her original colors until she switched them to white.
Yeah, I don't know. The blue switches to me is like, we didn't need it. Anakin just chose for no reason.
Joshua says, I prefer blue. They match better with her Montrails and Leku. That unintentionally rhymes. Yes, I agree. Star Wars is about the rhyming, Joshua.
Is it still a Leku or Leku?
Sure. Head-tail.
On a Togruta?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, it's still a head.
I know that's what you call them for Twi'leks, but I wasn't sure if you call them that for Togruta. I
mean, Twi'lek has an arm. You just say it's an arm. Right?
Well, sure, but it may be different on the head-taily things. Like, the head-tails on Twi'leks. Is it a head-tail on a Togruta?
Yeah, it's a head-tail. Aleko is just Huttese for head-tail. You didn't know that, did you?
I don't know if it's a head-tail.
I don't know if that's real or not. Let's made that up. Jordan says green is a classic. Christian says something about those blue sabers look amazing, especially her new look. A lot of people are saying blue, but so many people are saying I just prefer the white. But yeah, that's it. So that was the poll for this episode. I can't imagine what the poll will be for this episode. You guys got to check it out at the end of this video, though. And then you can vote over at Patreon. And we should say, too, that right now we're in the middle of some awesome Darth Maul stuff. But if you guys are watching with the catch-up version of this reaction series, which is Calvin and Rick reacting to Clone Wars for the first time, this week they met Darth Maul once again in his spider form. And then on Early Access is the part where Mother Talzin brings him back and takes his madness out. It's very exciting. So it's a perfect time for people that are excited about Darth Maul and the Clone Wars to go back and start watching. They have like almost 90 episodes of the catch up already, so you can binge watch during the quarantine all of those awesome episodes of Clone Wars again. Okay.
Yes.
So that is a good jumping on point for that, but we need a jumping on point for this episode, Eric.
Eric, Lekus are owned by Twi'leks, Togrutas, and male Osrilansos.
Osrilansos?
Yeah.
How could I have forgotten about them? What are those?
There's some kind of. I don't know what they are.
Okay, you're making me look bad. I don't
they're
know.
Ugly, and it's just Lekus are just
we all knew
fleshy
that.
appendages that come off the head. Ooh, we're not doing the thing. We're just.
Mm-hmm.
Is there gonna be any kind of? There's nothing, right? Just the Phantom Apprentice.
Phantom Apprentice.
Just right on
shit!
in. I love it.
Right into it.
Yeah, you cut that, put it in, and make a movie, baby. We can do Ahsoka.
Ahsoka. Tano, is it?
Lady
I can't
Tano.
say yours is a name familiar to me.
It's her. Come on, we'll trace the signal.
Go Rex.
All right, good. She needs help.
I wonder. The moment may be upon us.
Oh, he knows.
Why you?
Dude, did she find out from him, maybe?
I don't know.
Send you.
Why don't you surrender?
Soon the Jedi and Republic will no longer be the controlling interest in the galaxy.
And who will be?
Darth Sidious.
Oh, it's hard for him to say. Oh, the chills
No,
going
man.
back.
Oh,
Not yet.
The music.
not yet. Oh, fight later. No, Rex.
Listen to the music. I love it.
He mentioned a name, Darth Sidious.
That's like the first time they've actually heard that, right? Have they? I'm trying to think of a time it was mentioned in the movies or
I
anything.
do not know much, but I will
Obi-Wan
share
knows.
with you what the Council suspects.
Dooku told him, right?
Yeah.
I first learned the name from Count Dooku,
Yeah, there we go.
though any chance of learning more about Sidious from Dooku has been lost.
Oh, Dooku's
Oh,
dead.
He's dead.
Because Count Dooku is dead. Anakin killed him while rescuing the Chancellor. I'm being sent to hunt down General Grievous on Utapau.
Uh-huh.
Utapau.
What about
Ah.
Anakin? Maybe he can reinforce us.
Yeah, why
May
doesn't
I
he do that?
speak to Ahsoka alone
Is-
for a moment?
Anakin on the council at this point now?
Maybe, yeah.
Man, these are
What's he
new
gonna s-
Obi-Wan scenes
What's he gonna say?
in episode 3.
He has been instructed to observe the Chancellor and report his findings.
You mean
Dude, that's the
spy?
Imperial
Yeah,
March.
listen-
You hear it?
They told him to spy on the Supreme Chancellor? Why? The Chancellor has been a great friend and mentor to Anakin. I can't imagine he is happy about this.
No, he's not. That's why I'm asking for your help.
Sorry to
interrupt,
but there's been an attack.
Damn. He asked for help.
Yeah.
Tell Anakin.
I will.
He'll never get the chance, man. Ugh.
The ARC trooper, Jesse.
Oh, Jesse.
Realized he was older. Somehow.
Oh no.
Looked in his mind.
Jesse's
Dude,
been around for a while.
Jesse's OG, yeah.
He took Jesse alive.
Jesse survived fucking Umbara.
Yeah, he's been around for a bit.
Wasting your time.
Oh,
I won't
fuck.
tell you anything.
The plan. Not even I was made aware of its grand design. But I played my part. I was cast aside. I was forgotten. But I survived.
Maybe
Anything.
because he knew what the plan was, and he's older, he's gonna try to see if it's still there or something.
Will speak.
He's gonna Kylo Ren him probably.
Is related to the plan or Ahsoka or what? What's he looking for?
No, wait. It was.
Dang it! How did that guy get in here? Is he gonna be Anakin? Was he gonna be Palpatine?
Rex, get a medic.
I don't know.
Gets his
Maybe.
revenge on Palpatine and on.
Maybe.
The name came to him.
What name?
Sky
Maybe the.
Oh
I like the
fuck!
music there. That's good.
Do you think Maul was maybe trying to stop it?
I don't know.
Like if he can get Skywalker there, he can kill him and it doesn't happen? I don't know.
Ruins Palpatine's plans. Oh, I love the shields. Elevator. Oh!
Fucking Iron Man. That's so cool.
Oh wait.
The syndicate.
Yikes.
Is that Dryden Voss? No way.
Syndicate leaders to go into hiding.
It is, isn't
It is. Oh shit.
You once liberated me from my imprisonment by Sidious. He and I are the same. One step behind.
He was thrown away just like you.
The dark side has never been stronger.
He's trying to
My
gonna
lord,
take
what
Ahsoka
does
maybe?
it mean?
And if you die, you will die as warriors.
Oh, he's speaking their language.
Yep. I love how that guy's helmet was like, there was nothing there, he put it on, it turned yellow.
Yeah.
Oh.
I agree.
There's Jesse.
Oh,
Him just
Jesse.
chilling there. Oh.
My lady, is that any way to treat your rightful ruler?
Please be okay. Please be okay. Don't kill him. Get out of there, Jesse.
Is this the time now? What is going on? Oh man, they're gonna start fighting outside.
One of you might want to deal with that.
All right, Bo.
People need
Jeez, look at him flying in.
I know, it's amazing.
Stay on my account. We'll be fine.
Fuck him. This is so good. This
Oh,
is so
man.
good.
Look at them. So blissfully ignorant.
care to tell me what this
I don't
is
think
all
he cares about this at all, does he?
Or would you rather save it for the council?
Great room to fight in.
Justice is merely the construct of the current power base.
The Jedi can stop Sidious before it's too late.
Too late? For what? The Republic to fall? It already has, and you just can't see it. There is no justice, no law, no order, except for the one that will replace it. The time of the Jedi has passed.
You and I can.
Oh, fuck.
A new apprentice.
The Phantom Apprentice.
You have made.
Well, great dialogue.
Man, you know what? Part of me wants her to join him.
It's like I can stop it and Clone Wars can just continue in its own reality.
You're right.
She's thinking about it.
Oh.
Whoa, fuck.
I will help you. What do you want with Anakin Skywalker?
He is the key to everything. He has long been groomed for his role. My master's new apprentice.
You lie.
I was so certain of his fate that I orchestrated this war to lure him here with Kenobi. To kill him.
I know Anakin.
Oh, so she doesn't join him because of that? She was gonna
And
join him?
And he's right.
I see the Padawan needs one last lesson.
War drums.
Ah.
Holy shit.
Well, here we
Yeah,
go.
I see it. I see it. Aaron.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I love
This
it.
is amazing. That is already better than
it's just-
anything Maul has done
It's just
in the whole
watching the
series.
watching the footwork.
You can fucking see Ray Park there, man. Even Ahsoka looks good.
She just has her little one now.
Dude, they should have been doing this since the beginning.
Oh.
You're lucky Anakin didn't show up. The way you're fighting, you wouldn't have lasted long.
Kenobi's arrogance.
Oh, that was good. You see that?
Yep.
Oh, I love that. Jeez, it cut
Whoa.
through the window and stuff.
Yeah.
Look at that. I love it.
That was so fucking good. Even Ahsoka looked like she was like mo-capped.
I wonder what they did with her character. Like, if they had Ray Park. Oh, they're losing.
Uh-huh.
Is he done?
Sheesh.
No, I think not. Any moment my ship will be arriving. Die well, Mandalorian.
Yep.
Obi-Wan was right.
Oh, are they gonna fight on this beam?
You are difficult to kill.
Oh man. Music's pretty good. Oh. This is a great spot to fight. I love it.
We could have destroyed Sidious.
Only for you to take his place.
Ooh, nice, man. You can feel the weight.
Oh no.
Lord Maul, we must depart immediately.
Dude, I watched Ray Park's Instagram. He loves that move now.
Which one?
The spin around his back and then his front.
No.
Ooh.
Oh no, he's gonna cut the other side. Well, see, that's why he changes his armor then. He's like, screw Darth Maul.
Rex Caesar. Whoa!
Oh!
Whoa.
Let me die.
Let me die.
Oh my gosh. Dude, they caught him! I didn't think that's what was gonna happen.
Sam Witwer's so good.
That was a pretty cool fight.
You're all gonna burn. You're all gonna die.
No, it's over already? That felt too not enough.
So amazing.
Not enough.
That was so fucking awesome. Oh my god, Aaron. That was the best lightsaber fight they've ever done.
It was. I mean, Dave Filoni had said about it, right? I mean, that's what
Yeah.
they wanted it to be a more epic fight. Like, and it was great. I loved it.
I mean, for those that might not understand what we're talking about, one, we went into this knowing that Ray Park was involved with the mocap for Maul in this. I didn't know if that necessarily meant mocap for Ahsoka too, but for me, it looked like it.
Lauren Mary Kim did the performance for Ahsoka.
Oh, fuck, that's so cool.
She's known for stunts from Fast and Furious, Pacific Rim, Star Trek, stuff like that. So.
Well, she did a great job. And the difference between this and let's use one of the best examples of what the Clone Wars has done previously, which literally took place in the same room, which is Sidious versus Maul and Opress, right? I love that fight. It's amazing. Sidious is having the time of his life and looks like I never get to do this and I'm having so much fun. But it doesn't have any weight in it. This fight has weight in it. Watch as they shift and they move in their feet and the way they position their shoulders. You can go and do those moves. You can't go and do the moves that you see in previous fights because ultimately at the end of the day, it's animators making a fight they think looks cool. And as much experience as they can have, you have to have these subtle shifts in weight and retreat and advance that Ray Park is so good at. It's like watching him fight for real, and literally that's what it is.
Yeah.
And man,
I agree.
His style has changed too, from where he was literally 20 years ago when he fought in Episode 1. In that fight, he like gets down a lot more, where he stands up a lot taller in this one. Man, that was so good.
I loved it. I mean, I think the footing thing that I noticed is because of more of a weight distribution kind of look. Whereas, like, you don't see that kind of footing for the most part. It's more the saber movements and blocks and attacks versus, like, where their feet are placed, I feel like, in past fights. Mm-hmm. So, I think that's what sets it apart a lot.
Yeah, I mean, there was nothing in there that I disliked. I mean, the only thing it's been throughout all of Clone Wars is whenever they swing a lightsaber, it does that extreme curve, where the blade isn't straight. But I mean, that's just the style of Clone Wars. It doesn't bug me that much. Like, it doesn't bug me as much as like the thinness of Rebel blades, Mm-hmm. But man, I just want to watch it again and again and again.
No, the fight I loved.
Yeah.
I also really enjoyed the story element of what he was going for, like what Maul was after. Of like, we can stop Sidious. Now, sure, he's after power. I'm not gonna say he's not after power at all, but just the idea of like, if Ahsoka would have joined him here, how different would things have ended up? Could they have stopped Sidious?
Yeah.
He's right about Anakin. Anakin's what turns and makes everything possible. So would they have killed him, or would Ahsoka had stopped him without killing him? Like, would she have listened to like Obi-Wan and Ahsoka? Or I don't know.
There's so many elements in here. There's so many. The biggest and most surprising but obvious one for me is how afraid Darth Maul is, or I should say Maul. He's
Yeah.
like he is so afraid to the point where like once he failed at the end, he would rather die than live it.
Mm-hmm.
That was amazing. But we've talked about this recently in our episodes with Darth Maul that we're watching with Calvin and Rick, where Maul isn't susceptible or he's not being affected too much by Sidious's clouding of the Force, the shroud of the dark side that the Jedi can't see anything about Anakin that's wrong. They feel that they have like a subtle feeling of like, Anakin can be dangerous. We got to make sure we keep an eye on him. But Maul knows that it's Anakin because he's not, the shroud of the dark side isn't clouding his vision. That's really interesting.
No, I like all of that, and I'm really curious on like, I don't know, like what information maybe can she gather? How much does he know? Because like he definitely has, whether it's through some vision through the Force, like the Anakin thing, which is interesting of him having since the Jedi don't.
Yeah.
But like, does he know of Order 66? Is that something he's privy to? Like,
I think he is. He called it the moment.
Yeah. But is he referring to the moment as Order 66, or is he referring to like this is the moment Sidious takes over?
I think he's calling it the moment because especially the way that he refers to the clones like warriors bred for combat, he knows that that's their purpose. I mean, he says he doesn't know the entire grand plan, but I think he knows that point. I think he knows why the clones are the way they are.
Because my wonder is like, could Rex be saved through Ahsoka and Maul talking, and that's kind of what happens there.
I don't know.
Besides some of that, like that was really cool. I loved that too. But it was also really cool to see the Syndicate leader thing.
Dryden.
It had to have been Dryden on the right.
Yeah.
And then it was the Pikes in the middle. And then
And
I'm
then it
pretty
was-
sure it was one of the Prince Sizor,
Black Sun, the Folly.
Black Sun.
Yeah.
That guy reminded me of that. It reminded me of Prince Sizor.
Which we've had them in the Clone Wars. We'll see them. Rick and Calvin will see them fairly soon. The Falleen, but yeah, I mean, seeing them again and he's hiding them now because he knows it's about to happen.
Yes.
But it was really cool seeing Dryden.
No, yeah, it's great. So there's a connection there already with Maul and them, and then we have I don't know how many more years until the solo stuff happens. So it's just cool to
man.
see these things like slowly coming together and connecting to other elements in Clone Wars that Clone Wars kind of started, you know, for some of these like other movie moments and stuff.
I mean, and then speaking of movie moments, I mean, we had literally Episode 3 Obi-Wan in this episode, and the idea that he was so concerned for Anakin and what was happening because Anakin was being asked to lie to his friend, essentially. He went to Ahsoka for help.
Yeah, I kind of wish that would have been like. I wanted Ahsoka to join Maul. I know it seems like a bad idea, but like he's cool. I love Maul.
Yeah.
And I think it's more curiosity of like, man, if Maul gets Ahsoka, what changes and what can happen differently, you know? Like we've never seen this part. This part wasn't part of the movies or anything, you know?
Yeah.
But like part of me is like, man, if Ahsoka was thinking about like what Obi-Wan said, what does he feel like? He's getting close to, you know, the Chancellor and they don't know what his stuff is. Like, could he be turned somehow since he's being controlled by both sides? But
like
Maul, Palpatine, you know?
Maul didn't really extend that olive branch until he learned that Ahsoka was no longer a Jedi. I wonder if he is guessing kind of how like we've been guessing, maybe she could be immune to Order 66, and that's the moment which he and Ahsoka could go after Sidious, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what he's thinking. But again, we don't know that, and I have a feeling that at the very least in the chaos of Order 66 is when Maul escapes or something happens. We still got 2 episodes left, and I feel like this right here was what I was looking forward to the most.
Well, you could even have something more like, the Order 66 thing is one. Like, I really want Maul and Ahsoka fight, but then I really want, here's Order 66, which we're so close to with Obi-Wan going to Utapau and what we got information-wise in this. But, like, could you have a moment where, like, Ahsoka's saving Rex, getting the chip out or whatever, you know, the inhibitor chip, and then, like, it's Rex, Maul, and Ahsoka trying to escape, like the clones or something like that.
I don't know.
And then in that chaos, once they kind of get away, Darth Maul takes advantage and escapes. You know.
See,
I don't know.
I've been on a Darth Maul kick. Was watching some awesome Maul moments on YouTube, you know, and the one of them is when Ahsoka and Maul meet in Rebels. He says, "Lady Tano's still running, I see." So the first thing he says to her is "still running." Now that can imply just the idea of running from the Jedi, but I wonder if that means Ahsoka runs from him at the end of this or something, you know?
Possibly. Maybe.
And I mean, we did it last week, but we gotta do it again. Special shout out to Kevin Kiner and the music.
Oh yeah,
the moment when Almec says Skywalker and it does the Imperial trill. Oh, that was fucking amazing, man. I got my nerd dick hard.
I liked all the music in it. Like, there's lots of music moments that are like, they aren't the same as a Star Wars song, but they might have some reminiscent moments of it, or maybe like it's just like I loved when they were fighting too on the music when they were fighting on like the beams, and it was done. The moment there was so good, not just in the music, but also the beams are fighting on. Because I'm like, oh, they're gonna fight on a beam, but then they fought like where all the beams like joined, so they had a little bit more movement they could do.
Yeah. I kind of want to re-listen to hear when Maul and Ahsoka first fight in the sewer. I felt like they were starting Duel of the Fates a little bit, but then it changed. But it sounded like almost the same instrumental language. I wanted to listen to it again.
Not yet.
Come on.
I mean, yeah, listening to it again, I mean, it's not exactly the same, but as they're fighting with their lightsabers, you can kind of hear almost the chorus being like ba da ba ba ba. It's like they're just using a couple notes in there, and they also have the trumpets being like bump 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 like that. So it's like hitting the point of Duel of the Fates, but it didn't. And I was so goddamn concerned with what I was seeing in the fight later that I don't even remember the music.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was wanting to. Is that at around 2 minutes?
Yeah, it's right when they pull out their lightsabers and start fighting. So yeah, right about 2 minutes. 2:20.
Yeah.
Listen.
Not yet.
There was even a couple moments of like bup 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 like that, like in the background.
A lot of like that chorus has like the similar notes of Duel of Fates.
I mean, it's almost as if they like they brought together everything you would need to do Duel of the Fates, and then told people like do something like that.
No,
Anyway.
this is great. I love this episode.
This might be. I'm gonna say it. I think this is my favorite episode of Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Between this,
two more. We don't know.
I
the
know,
last two
no,
are
I
gonna
know, I know. I'm just saying. I think it is, because I mean, Lawless is one of my favorites ever. And you know what's crazy? Think of all the shit that's happened in this goddamn throne room.
Oh yeah.
This is where Pre Vizsla and Maul fought. This is where Maul kills Satine. This is where Palpatine takes on Savage and Maul. And now it's where these two have their fight. Like, this is like, for the Clone Wars, this is the most important room.
Great.
And they're just, there's so many moments in this episode that I literally can't say all of them how much I loved. But the moment when, like you said, Aaron, I wanted Ahsoka. I almost wanted her to say yes. And she did. If it were not for the caveat of what's happening to Anakin. And she's like, no, that could never happen. But the moment when the glass breaks, and it's almost as if like the tidal waves of the Force is on the precipice of what Ahsoka is going to choose. Like the Force is taking a breath and being like, oh, fuck, this could fuck everything up. you know?
No, I love it. I mean, we've seen her connection with Anakin.
Yeah.
You know, even to the point of like, she's not with the Jedi anymore, but Anakin is there, and he's, you know, here's your sabers, and here's this, and we'll make you commander then. And, you know, he's like doing everything he can to help her. And that's just, it's their connection, which is maybe too much. You know, just like Anakin has too much of a connection with Padme, his connection with his Padawan was too much as well, I feel like. And that's part of what did this, you know? If this would have been any of the other Jedi. You know, if you would have had Mace Windu here, Mace Windu would be like, oh sure, let's go check him out. You know, like he'd have been like, I've had issues with him before. I could see something happening, but Ahsoka can't even like what humor the thought. You know?
Yeah.
Dude, Eric, I went and hit play.
Me too.
At the beginning of the fight, dude.
What are you gonna say? I'm at 1914.
You're at 1914. It might be the same one. Hang on, I'm trying to see. It happens. Yeah, is it the Ahsoka behind the back?
Yeah.
I just looked and I was going through. I'm like, damn, that behind the back thing is
Dude,
so good.
fucking me too. Ugh.
Like I didn't even notice that the first time, and you're going through.
I know. I'm just watching this fight.
I was
Fucking.
like, man, I want to go through it again while we're kind of talking about this, and like I just see Ahsoka do this behind the back block. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my god, when have they done that in the Clone Wars? If you
It's
start a
so
little
good,
earlier,
man.
It's great.
Dude, this is. I mean, look, I'm gonna say it. Like, I didn't enjoy the great fight of Kylo and Rey, right? Because it didn't have the language of Star Wars lightsaber fighting that I like, which is Nick Gillard and Ray Park figuring out how these guys fight, you know? I know a
Sure.
lot of people don't like the prequel fighting, but I love it. And this is so much better than that fight. It pisses me off.
I mean, I can agree with that, but I also think there's the history look of like Jedi in their prime and what they're like versus people who have never really fought with lightsabers before and where they're at, you know?
I
Learning from
suppose
more people who didn't really fight from lightsabers and
I
know
get
what
you.
I mean?
I get you. But if
no, I
if
love
that
it.
style of fighting was in the sequels, I can't imagine anybody being like, well, you know, this is bullshit. They shouldn't be able to fight like this.
Yeah. But dude, the little just the head backs and stuff of Ahsoka doing block like dodging Maul. It
Uh-huh.
reminds me a lot too of the SWTOR cinematic trailers.
Yeah.
Like whenever there's like the one where Malgus comes in and there's the Jedi with the armor and
Yeah.
the robes, and he does that like quick dodge back. Like
Yeah.
Ahsoka's doing that kind of stuff, and it's
That's
so good.
that's I know. I mean, for anybody like, you know, like for anybody that doesn't know what we're talking about, okay, just do a watch through of the beginning shots of Maul fighting and just watch his feet. Watch where Ray Park chooses to put his foot because of something that he's doing, not for something that he's doing. It's an effect from a cause that he's doing,
Well,
and
not
that's
just that,
what sells it.
1937 on this.
Uh-huh.
When he's doing like this, he's like a falling like overhead strike, and
Yeah.
his back leg kicks out.
Yeah.
Maul does that all the time. Well, not all the time, but he does that in episode 1. You know, like
He
it's-
does, and you gotta go to Ray Park's Instagram because he posts like every day. He's doing something because he's getting ready. When they give him the call, this motherfucker's ready. You know, he's been ready for 25 years. But I mean, his style has changed. But that kick out, you know, like he's not as limber as he used to be. You know, and he will readily admit this. He's not the kid that he was. But he's developing like a new style on how he does things, and you can see a lot of it, especially because in episode 1 he was very much he would hold the saber the same direction both on the lightsaber both ways, right? Like it'd be like an up down, like you can't see me, Aaron, but like just holding your fist out and they're pointing down, right?
Okay.
And then a lot of the times he didn't do this in episode 1, but now he's going one hand over, one hand under a lot and doing that as well.
Okay.
And you can see that a lot in this fight, especially when he's doing his spins, because they just arc differently than they did in episode 1, and I'm all for it, man.
Yeah, no, there's a point in the middle of the fight where Ahsoka does like the butterfly roll or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
And it's very much like episode 1 for Darth Maul. But then when she summons her saber back, Darth Maul does a flip that's different. And I think it's like you can tell it's kind of Darth Maul, but it's also he's a little different. And I can also buy it because Darth Maul has been cut in half, has giant metal legs.
Yeah.
He's probably a little different in his balance and stuff, you know? Like
Yeah.
I just feel like things have to be different.
And you know what I can't appreciate? I said, like, man, they should have been doing this for all their life. Could you imagine if they did this for, like, the Dooku fights and shit? You know,
Yeah.
bring the guy from episode 2 that did all of Dooku's fighting. Oh, that would have been great. But if we're just focusing on Maul, this is the moment. Like, we've talked about, like, Maul never got back to where he was But this is the moment where, at least in the fighting, he is back to where he was, and this is the moment he gets to use a double-bladed lightsaber, because he hasn't done that the entire time of the Clone Wars. He's used his broken half, you know?
Yeah.
But now he's made a new lightsaber, it looks like, with this one. I guess. I'm not sure where he got it, but he had to have made it. But it's the first time he's using a double-bladed.
Did he have any of that in the? I mean, you went through the comic thing, right? Or the Dathomir?
Yeah, in the comic, he uses a red lightsaber single, and he'll use the dark saber as well, but never a double bladed.
Gotcha.
Or at least, I mean, I don't know if there was more after what I had read, but no.
Man,
this is the first moment.
I love that. Sorry, I keep going through the fight as we're talking too.
I know,
but I just love this. Like they're going through fighting, and Ahsoka with her reverse grip goes for the leg. And Maul leg checks it, and then she like flips it in the air and catches it and comes down with both.
At 20 minutes.
Yeah, like 20,
20:06.
20:06, 20:05, 20:07, somewhere in there. It's just such a good. I love it. I love the leg check. I love leg checks.
Yeah, dude, keyframe animation fighting will never be as good to me as the motion capture. It just won't. I mean, there's a lot of keyframe fights that I absolutely love. They're amazing. You know, the Final Fantasy Advent Children movie, like that's amazing. And a lot of it's keyframed, and you can pull off great stuff keyframe, but there's just something about the motion capture that, like, I haven't felt this way about a lightsaber fight since episode 3.
Yeah. I can get you there.
An official lightsaber fight, because, you know, 7 was okay, 8 didn't really have any, and 9 was also good as well, but this is my shit right here, and I'll never stop talking about it.
No, I mean, the prequel fights are some of my favorite fights, and I love them so much because of the energy, and you know, you get the 2v1s going on, and you get, I mean, I'm trying to. There's no moments in like original and sequel where you have like, I guess the throne room, but it's not like a lightsaber fight. It's, you know, bunch of other guys.
Yeah, and while I like the sequence, there's a bunch of problems in that sequence too.
Oh yeah, sure.
You know,
there are. So I don't know, but yeah, it's stuff
but
like this.
They're not problems that I think like this is impossible. Like, you've fucked all this up. The only problem with it is it showed too much. If they had been a little close on most of those things, I wouldn't have any problems with it because I wouldn't be able to see the problems. You know?
Yeah. You don't know what you don't see.
Yeah.
One of those kind of things.
Yeah. I mean, I loved a lot of the gags and stuff in that throne room fight. You know, I mean, it's been kind of done, but, you know, Rey dropping the lightsaber and cutting through. I love the weapons of the Praetorian Guards, especially the, like, whip chain sword thing. That was awesome. And, of course, the moment when Kylo, actually, Adam Driver, that's the thing that kind of frustrates me, is because Adam Driver is amazing in his performance. Not only just as Kylo, but in his fighting. Because that guy's he's a U.S. Marine. He knows how to make this shit look good. Yeah. And he has moments of, like, when he has his lightsaber and he has one of the staffs, and you see him, like, really subtly just flip it over his shoulder and catch it backhanded and keep fighting. Like, he can do it. It's just that I didn't love the choreography itself, you know? I mean, I would really be interested to see what Adam Driver could do under someone else, you know, that has the language of Star Wars fighting that I like.
Yeah.
So
true.
Anyway, man, we should probably get to Q&A. Huh? Yeah, we should. We will literally gush about this all day.
I'm going through the beams thing, and the beams, like a lot of the saber movements, they aren't hitting it as much as the throne room for me. Yeah. But the thing I love is just the way the foot movements are on those beams, to the point of like Maul jumping, and then like he's catching his balance with like 3 jumps with 1 foot on a beam. Like, okay, I'm good. You know.
To me, it looks like what they did is they had, like, you know, when they're doing the choreography, it looks like they had some tape, measured out where they're gonna be, and then just put their steps there.
Yeah.
You know. The only thing is like you just didn't have that. Like, to me, I didn't have that sense of like they're actually high up in that, you know how a lot of people think that you only have 5 senses. You actually have a lot of senses, and one of those senses is your sense of balance. And whenever you're that high up, that can fuck with your other senses. So you just kind of move differently when you're that high, you know? So to me, it looks like but they're also Jedi. They're superpowered monks who can see the future. So fuck it, you know? But yeah, that's what it seems like to me. They just kind of like taped out where they would step, because it was still motion captured at that point.
Yeah. No, it is, but it's just I just love the beam work.
Yeah.
It just looks so cool, and I love that they did rather than like, all right, we're gonna be on a beam, we're gonna be able to fight forward and backwards, and that's all we're gonna get. They're like, you know
Yeah.
what? No, we're gonna fight in a spot where 8 beams all come together in one spot, and now you get more places to be able to put your feet, and you get one area that's a little bit bigger than the rest.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right. Well, we talked for a very long time, and there are a lot of Q&As. So I'm just trying to find the beginning. Okay, there we go. Kobe W, another great episode from the god Dave Filoni himself. What did you guys think of the action this episode, and how do you think Maul is going to end up escaping? Plus, all the Order 66 talk is getting me super hyped. I don't know if we can talk about... Yeah, I don't know if we can talk about the action more.
Order 66, I think, is going to be a reason why he escapes. I kind of like the idea of, like, Maul, Ahsoka, and Rex somehow are having to work together to get away.
Yeah.
Which would be an interesting concept, because Maul doesn't really have allegiances to anything. As we saw here, he put the Mandalorians out there to try to entice Ahsoka. He didn't care about that at all. You know, his goal was to go after Skywalker.
Yeah.
This wasn't even like a power play to gather the forces of Mandalore and control the planet or anything. Like he kind of had that before, but even that was to get Obi-Wan. So I feel like he would have no problem joining with Ahsoka to escape, especially if he has like no saber or something, you know?
Yeah, agreed. Hunter J. Feeney says, what I like about the Maul fight is that the outcome is very contextual and environmentally based, since he's the superior duelist. Also, this insight into Maul makes me realize how good of a choice Sidious made for his OG apprentice. Yeah, I agree, Hunter. I definitely, like, even though a lot of it was, you know, in the kind of the open, definitely in the fight later when they're using the environment and their positioning and their spacing, I really liked that. And I loved how I thought Maul was gonna throw Ahsoka down and cut it, and she was gonna fall, and Rex was gonna have to save her, and he wins.
Yeah.
But they surprised me with Ahsoka being the one to do it.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah, because I don't love an ending to a lightsaber fight that is just like one person forgot to swing, and now it's over. You know, like I love the prequel fights, but my least favorite prequel fight is Obi-Wan versus Dooku in Episode 2. You know, because a lot of it's mirror moved, and then like it just kind of gets him in the shoulder and gets him in the knee, and he's done. But that's because you don't want to outshine what's to come later. You know.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I definitely agree with Hunter there. Man, there's gonna be a lot of love here for this episode. I can already tell. Joseph says, where are they gonna go from here? I expected this in the final episode, not the second. Also, did you see Dryden?
Yes, I did see Dryden.
Yeah,
it was great.
Well, I didn't see it until you were like, "Is that?" And I looked.
I was like, "Isn't that?"
And I looked at it. I looked at it, and it cut right when I looked at it. But just for that moment, I'm like, "Motherfucker, that's Dryden Voss."
So,
all right.
I see, one of the biggest things, like I wanted this for sure, but I also want to see Order 66.
Yeah.
I feel like you got to end the Clone Wars when the Clone Wars end, which it ends at Order 66. You know.
I agree. I mean, I want to see it. Let's say we see it next episode. I definitely want to see that. But if it did happen next episode, I want to see what the last episode of Clone Wars is, because then I have no idea, and I'm excited by that. Because you know, throughout all of the Clone Wars, we're anticipating, well, Ahsoka can't, like, what happens with Ahsoka, and now we know she survives. You know.
Yeah.
But now there's this big question mark of like, okay, but what happens? And I can't wait to have that answered. You know.
True.
Like I'm probably just as excited here as I was when I went to go see Episode 9 in theaters. I gotta admit.
Yeah. No, me too. I mean, it's crazy because like as you're going through it, you have that feeling like Ahsoka's there, and you're like, what? Anakin never had an apprentice. Like, doesn't make any sense. And then you get through more and more, and then when it ended, you're like, man, Ahsoka left, but where does she go? She's not in the movies. Like, what happened?
Yeah.
And then they bring Maul back, and then you have like, well, Maul's not in the movies. Like, what happened to Maul? What are you talking about? So it's cool to start to see like, okay, well, we kind of know, rebels and things that happened, but what happened hasn't really been seen, and it's exciting to see like what that was.
Yeah.
How the culmination occurred.
A lot of people asking about Dryden. Kobe W was asking about Dryden. Andrew says, where does this rank in your all-time lightsaber fight list? It's pretty up there, man.
Yeah.
It's pretty up there. I'm gonna prefer it over everything from episode 2. As much as I loved episode 2, Yoda's performance and the way Dooku's fighting against him is the same problem I would have with Clone Wars fights. Like you can't look at it and be like, ooh, okay, so they're doing this and then this, and they move the left foot here and then this. All right, let's do it. All right, do it 50%. Do it 75%. Do it 100. Let's go.
I couldn't say, all right, Eric, look, we're gonna do the episode 2 fight. I'm gonna be Dooku and you're Yoda, okay?
Yeah. Exactly.
Which is the same to say with the Darth Sidious fight in episode 3. Like, you can't really do that. It's cool to watch, but it's just one guy like moving a saber, and then they put someone else, a digital effect in there to do it.
I mean, Duel. Go ahead.
Yeah, Duel of the Fates.
Yeah.
Battle Brothers. Those ones.
Battle of the Heroes. Yes.
Battle of the Heroes. Yeah. Sorry.
If we're allowed to throw in the SWTOR cinematic fights, those are way up there as well. Again, motion captured. But this is probably top 5 easily.
Yeah.
Possibly top 4, top 3. I don't know, man. I mean, because the SWTOR fights are amazing in themselves because of the performances and how good they look, but this carries emotional weight for me. So in terms of watching for the first time, this might be better than the SWTOR fights.
Yeah, which I think emotion is part of it. Because I know some people are going to be like, man, Return of the Jedi has such a great fight and there's so much emotion in there and stuff. But like the fight itself isn't amazing. But it's the story that's grown and where things have culminated. That's a good part of it.
But if we want to go, I'm talking my list in terms of like the actual fight. If we're talking about the scene, how do you feel, Aaron? Do you like this more or do you like Twin Sons more? Obi-Wan, Old Man versus Darth Maul.
Because even though it's so short, it's so good.
So heavy.
Yeah.
And the differences of Obi-Wan luring him into Qui-Gon's stance and luring that move is so good. I mean, Dave Filoni is a goddamn master when it comes to making sure he has what he needs to deliver.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I wasn't even counting Twin Sons when I was making my top 4 or whatever, because Twin Sons is very much up there because it has that classic Kurosawa samurai fight. But this is like there's some blood, sweat, and tears that Ray Park put in here, and I appreciate that, and that affects my list.
I mean, out of 4 of my fights that I'm thinking about right now that are probably some of my favorites, Maul's in 3 of them.
Yeah.
Like I love episode 1. Like that fight is just it was so good, and part of it I want to say is my childhood, because I was like one of my first. I was so young, being like, "Oh my god, this fight's so cool! I love this red dude is so cool! Look at him flipping." But then episode 3 with Anakin versus Obi-Wan is just great, and it has a lot of emotional buildup, and it's been building that up all through the prequels and stuff. And then this one here is great. I love it so much.
Yeah.
And then Twin Sons, it just has, even though it's so short, it's like this. It's the end of a character story, but it also tells a lot in it. Yeah. And I mean, those are probably in my top 4 out of
Twin Sons. Yeah, Twin Sons doesn't have enough time to show any flaws.
Yeah.
Like all the other ones has time to show like, you could have done this better or something like that. But Twin Sons happens and you're like, yep, nothing went wrong. It's all perfect.
Yeah. So like if I'm looking at just like canon stuff, those are probably my top 4 fights.
Gotcha.
I don't know which order I'd want to put them in, but yeah, I mean, original trilogy is fight wise. I mean, they weren't there yet. The story is great. I love the story, and then you get into the sequel trilogy, and I still feel like it's part of the idea of like, well, here's some people that never had lightsabers before that learned how to fight, and then they taught other people who had never used lightsabers before. Like Leia. Like, when did Leia know how to fight with a lightsaber? That's pretty much who she learned from.
Sure.
And then Luke Skywalker a little bit, but yeah.
I mean, even that short segment that I loved in episode 9 when Leia is fighting Luke and they're training and stuff. I'm like, hey, that looks pretty cool, but they just that was a little more, wushu looking than this is, which feels Star Wars.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
It could be the era. That's
true.
I'd like to think that that's part of what it is.
Mm-hmm.
This is the prime, and this is when Jedi were trained from birth on how to fight and how to be Jedi and how to look in the future, and that's why things are so quick and they move so fast. And
Yeah, dude, if you ask me, every time they do lightsaber fights, they need to go and just get Ray Park. He'll do it. He'll do it for free. Just go get him. All right, just go get him. He'll elevate every single time Disney needs someone. Like, what do we do for a lightsaber fight? Please, God, you know that guy is shaking, looking at his phone, waiting for it to ring. You know, just go do it. I would love you if you did that. All right, let's move on. Connor Wilson says, at the end of the at the end of the Ahsoka and Obi-Wan conversation, Ahsoka asked Obi-Wan to tell Anakin something, and that he knew what it was. My question is, what do you think she wanted to tell him?
Ahsoka, and what part? What was it?
Ahsoka and Obi-Wan, they're talking, and right before they cut up the call, they hang up. Ahsoka's like, tell Anakin, and he's like, I know what you want me to tell him. What do we think that is? I'm gonna go to that moment here.
Yeah.
Tell Anakin.
I will, says, So what does she want to say? Tell Anakin, and then he's like, I will, which is very much, if we're gonna go with, that rhyming of Star Wars, it's, I love you, I know. Tell Anakin, I will.
They never say it. They never say I love you.
Yeah. So, it's one of those things where, like, if Anakin heard from her, he wouldn't have felt so alone because the council is using him, and no one cares, and no one knows about Padme, and only Palpatine does, and only Palpatine can help. And if Ahsoka was there to be a rock, or if Obi-Wan was there to be his rock, Obi-Wan's gone too. We've talked about that before in the Clone Wars with Rick and Calvin, that there was a moment, I remember specifically, where it seemed like Palpatine learned, this is what I need to do to turn Skywalker. I got to get rid of Obi-Wan. I got to get him out of there. I got to get him away from him. Yeah. Because Anakin flew off the handle whenever he thought Obi-Wan was dead. All right. Okay, so, I don't know what the words would be, but I weirdly know what the feeling was meant to be.
Yeah, I feel like it was easily that. I didn't really catch that the first time, I guess. I didn't really think about it, I guess, as much. But, yeah.
All right, Austin says, so, I'm not the only one here that thinks Maul is basically the hero, right? Trying to stop Sidious and thwart his plans before he becomes unstoppable. He might try to assume power in the end, yes, but I still think his intentions would have led to good in the end.
No, I mean...
when Maul was talking about the clones and how they were bred for combat, I think that he's also a little bit talking about himself. Like, that's what he was for, and he was cast aside, just like the clones are going to be cast aside, just like Dooku was cast aside. I mean, it's great because Maul, he's right. He's fucking right. Anakin will fall. Anakin is the thing that's going to cause all this death and misery, and if Ahsoka had just listened, they might have been able to stop it. I wouldn't call him a hero, but I wouldn't call him the villain.
No. I mean, Sidious has made enemies along the way that want to stop him for sure, but I could definitely see Maul working, with Ahsoka to stop Sidious. Yeah. Not to save the Jedi, but to stop Sidious. Yeah. And then, is there a power vacuum? It's possible.
Well, if there's a power vacuum, someone has to do it. I mean,
gather whatever power can. He already has the syndicate that he's working with, So, I think that's easily what would have happened. And that's part of why I wanted Ahsoka to work with him, because I was like, man, I wonder what would happen if that would happen.
Yeah. I really love the moment, too, when he's talking about Dooku, and he's talking almost as if, like, he was jealous, and he, like, previously when he mentions Dooku, especially in that Dathomir arc, he kind of has an element of, like, what is it about you that's better than me? Why did you replace me? Like, he's like the old girlfriend, and now Sidious has a new girlfriend, and he's like comparing himself to her. But then he realizes, we're the same. We both just got thrown aside, Love it. All right, let's see here. Derek the Spider says, holy forking shirt balls. That might have been the best duel in Star Wars. Do you guys think Order 66 is next week or the finale? I think it could be next week, and the finale is something else. I don't know. Oh, go ahead.
I was like, we cut a lot of time. We finished all of the rescue of the Chancellor, and we're going on to Utapau. It's not much longer that he gets to Utapau and then finds Grievous, and then Order 66 happens. So I think next episode could be Order 66. And then we have one more episode, telling anything, tying up loose ends and whatnot. Maybe it could be them seeing what's happening, who's taking control, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to see Ahsoka and Rex trying to find out what do we do now that Order 66 has happened.
Derek also says, if you had to choose 2 Force users to go up against Sidious, who do you choose? Both for effectiveness and overall cool factor. Well, my first choice, or that comes immediately, is Obi-Wan and Anakin, because Sith Lords are their speciality. But, I mean, if I had to be like, well, fucking, all right, Darth Nihilus and Scion. How about that? he'll have a hard time with those two. Because Nihilus will eat him and Scion can't die.
I was going to say, like, Obi-Wan and Yoda. Like, if they would have both gone after Sidious, I wonder what would have happened differently instead of splitting up. Because Yoda was putting up a heck of a fight, and he's strong in the Force, and Obi-Wan's a great duelist, so...
Yeah.
I don't know. Those two might have been really good together. I mean, Mace Windu was doing really well, but was it also part of a ploy just to get Anakin there and buy time and stuff too? And
sure.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell what was the plan and what was not what he wanted.
Raj says, I love the music in this arc. The Imperial March, whenever Vader is hinted, always gets me. What'd you guys think of the music in the episode, especially during Maul and Ahsoka's fight? Again, I haven't listened to it because my ears just start ringing.
I heard part of it. The stuff I heard was great. I loved. There was some of the high note stuff, which kind of reminded me a little bit of like episode 1, but it still wasn't. It was still different, and I liked it.
I'm gonna listen to it here.
Good luck.
The first part is very percussion. It's like the war drums, because there's literally a war happening outside,
Yeah.
Honestly, it's kind of letting the lightsabers sing a little bit, just using the drums, so I like that.
Yeah, on the balance beam part is when they have a little bit more of the high note stuff, I think.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's when they have like more of the fight, and I feel like they cut away a little less.
Yeah, a lot of chorus work in this one.
Yeah. And that kind of, a lot of that chorus work like that reminds me of episode 1 a lot. But, you also could have, like, ba, 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 ba.
Yeah.
And they have chorus stuff in there, too, so,
It's definitely the John Williams style, like, whenever, like, a character is about ready to fall over and there's a trumpet going, like, ba, 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 like that.
Yeah.
I've always loved that, especially because it just makes me think, like, I don't know why I've always thought this, but whenever you have, like, those tracks that are, like, made to the action where it's like, but, it's like it's like you have, like, trumpets reacting, like, oh, shit, he's gonna fall! All right, okay, let's see here. Let's go to the next one. There's a lot of Q&As, and this is a great episode, so we gotta get to as many as we can. Kyle says, holy fuck, the perfect marriage of live action, animation, and a lightsaber fight. It was incredible. No joy so far, but I'm sticking to my theory that Gideon could make a cameo. My question is, do you guys think we could see Vader versus Maul at the end of this?
Vader versus Maul?
That would be amazing. If it happens, I'll die.
No, I don't think so.
You could do it.
If you did, no, I don't think so.
In Rebels, Maul says, I can't take him alone. As if he has experience in the matter.
Yeah, but that also could have happened some other time. Because I'm trying to think of what happens here, right? So you get the Sidious stuff, he gets turned, he takes on the Coruscant stuff, and then he leaves Coruscant to go to Mustafar.
Yeah.
And then he battles Mustafar until Obi-Wan, and then he gets his legs chopped off, and then he becomes Vader.
Yeah.
So, unless you have a gap far enough to where he actually dons the suit, if that's what we're talking about, maybe. It just depends how far ahead we go. And I feel like the suit stuff, like, it's got to have some bit in the distance, like...
Well, also, a lot of the canon comics they pretty much have what happens to Vader right after he gets in that suit, too. Including his first Sith lightsaber. So, I don't know what they would do. If they would supersede that, or if they would do that, or they might just not do it at all. So, I don't know.
The thing I could see is like
I
them
could see
talking that
Vader
way
in it though.
Is like he runs from here. He's doing stuff with the Syndicate. Somehow he ends up on Malastare.
Yeah.
There's so much room in there that they could have met at some point, especially when he's hunting down Force users. I mean,
Malachor.
Malachor, yeah, not
Yeah.
Malastare. Where's Malastare? Malastare's too, right?
Malastare's a planet too, yeah.
But yeah, so I'm gonna say no.
Okay, gotcha.
But I think it would be cool. But you ultimately can't kill either one. So
yeah.
But I guess that's the same with Ahsoka and Maul here. But it was so great.
Arnie Chavez, I feel you, Arnie. Arnie says, I don't know what to say. Maybe it's because I just witnessed something amazing. Obi-Wan talking about the events of Episode 3, Maul talking about Sidious and Anakin, the fight. No question for me. I just wanted to say I love Star Wars.
I do too.
All right,
concur.
let's see. Yeah. A lot of people asking if we think that this is going to be going past Episode 3. I think it's very possible we get, at the very least, an epilogue past Episode 3. I think we could end with Vader. We could. I think it's possible.
I think the things that we need to hit on is Order 66 happening, what happens with Rex and Ahsoka, maybe how they also gather Wolf, and there's a third one, right? Weren't there 3 clones? What was his name?
Gregor.
Yeah. Like where maybe we see them get gathered too.
Maybe.
Because like if you wait too long, I don't know. I feel like it
I was
doesn't work.
Dude, I was pretty scared for Jesse. I'm like, no, not Jesse.
I wasn't sure what he was looking for exactly either.
Yeah. He was looking for information on Ahsoka. Like I said, I think that...
Yeah, I got that later on, but at first
Yeah.
I'm like, man, maybe he's looking for something related to the clones, if he has any idea of Order 66, or maybe he is looking for stuff for Ahsoka, or I don't know. But
William says, it was interesting, or William Campos says, it was interesting to see Maul actually try to warn everyone what was to come before he got stunned at the end. I thought him being Maul would choose to let them all perish. Yeah, when he was like, you'll burn, you'll all die. And he actually said, kill me. Like he's afraid. Like now that I've lost, I don't have someone to help me, I'm afraid. Kill me. And then, why does he say anything? I think it's similar to why he says he will avenge us when he dies, when he's talking about Luke. He is the chosen one. He will avenge us. So he's not talking just about himself. He's talking about everybody Palpatine has hurt. Because we got to remember, when all is said is done, Maul was a young child when Sidious stole him from Dathomir and trained him as a Jedi, as a Sith. So
yeah,
he's very much the nurture part when it comes to how is
and
he bad.
it was all just a tool. That's all he was,
Yep.
Yeah. No, and it's not in that moment too. He does say you're all gonna burn, but then he says we're all gonna die.
We're all gonna die.
So he is including himself in all of this, like
yeah.
So
it's so fucking good.
I love it because it's a good villain. You know what I mean? Like he's not a good guy, but he's not all bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what I mean?
That was a great bad. All right. Logan says, was the duel as good as you expected? That's interesting because I feel like I expected this. I expected to feel this way. I just didn't know what I was going to see. But I trusted Dave Filoni, Ray Park, and now I have a new person to love, which is the lady playing Ahsoka's performance.
Lauren Mary Kim.
Yeah. Now I love her.
No, she did great. I love that behind the back block.
I know.
I love it. It's so good.
If you guys want to see another behind the back block, go check out a little lightsaber fight called Ferocity, in which Aaron blocks behind his own back.
Yeah, but it wasn't as good.
No, it was not as good, Aaron. You should really think about what you were doing 10 years ago. Dude, there's going to be somebody that's going to be like, Ferocity. Holy shit, that's Aaron! Because they watched it 10 years ago.
Oh, right.
Oh, it's funny. All right.
Cut in half.
A lot of people asking about Dryden. All right, Bug Eye, go ahead.
No, I was like, he didn't get to say a word, but it was just cool to see him in there.
Bug Eye knows us very well. Bug Eye says, how many times will you guys hit the replay button, and will it be enough times to finally break the mouse? He knows exactly what I'm going to do as soon as I'm done with work for the day.
We started doing it in this.
I know.
Playing on repeat.
Oh, man. Logan says, who do you guys like more, Maul or Dooku? I've always liked Maul more.
Yeah.
I mean, when Dooku first came into Episode 2 and he had the curved lightsaber and it was Christopher Lee, I mean, that's hard to beat.
Yeah.
He's certainly, to me, more of a villain than Maul is, because Maul doesn't really have a choice. Dooku chose to left the Jedi Order and to forsake everything he believed in for what he's doing. So I don't feel bad for Dooku very much. Whereas I feel bad for Maul a little bit.
Yeah, no, I agree. Dude, you gotta go to 1905.
All right. Oh, can't wait.
It's not really fight related. It's just I saw this and I really like this. Because like when he ignites his saber, you see it is half of his saber that he normally has. It looks just like his episode 1 saber.
Shit, you're right, Aaron.
The other half is like this metal carbon fibery different. It's like he's melded two together like himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's so cool.
It's so cool. I love it.
Huh. I wonder. Okay.
Because I was looking at it, I'm like, man, that emitter looks like episode 1 emitter, but that emitter is not episode 1's emitter.
Drew the Puppet Geek says, as Saber Combat Pros, what are your notes on Ahsoka and Maul's fight? We've said too much, Drew, but you can go back and rewatch. Did you have any further notes? Like, was there something that you'd be like, not that part, or it's going a little long here? Did you feel any way with that, Aaron?
No, I mean, and maybe going through it a few more times, like your first time watching things, you don't see the flaws as much because you're just absorbing everything in as much as you can.
Yeah.
And it's when you go through again, you're like, oh man, look at this. And so far, the ones I've gone through again, looking at things, I'm seeing more things that I like that I didn't see the first time that I liked.
Yeah.
So
no, I liked it. I mean, whenever you're trying to tell a story in a fight, like one of the first things you want to show is like, okay, how dangerous is where we are? Like the throne room fight. Obviously, there's a war going on outside, but there's no real inherent danger right now in the environment. But when they get up into the the rafters or whatever, you feel the danger there. Especially because there's moments where they're almost falling. So they had that in there. That's one thing a lot of people miss, I feel like. I don't have any notes in terms of like what you should change or what you should cut or anything like that.
Yeah.
At
least not yet. Maybe I'll watch it 10 more times and I'll be like, you know what? This one part right here. But I don't know if I will. But
I mean, if anybody's ever watched us reacting to like fan lightsaber films or something like that, you know that we don't hold back and everybody hates when we do that. So all right, let's see here. Alex says staying up until 3 a.m. is definitely worth it when it comes to these episodes. What did you guys think of Ahsoka? Okay, yeah, we talked about that. But yeah, a lot of people here, these are all 6 hours ago right now, I'm in. So there's a lot. I'm trying to find some unique questions because I'm super happy everybody's commenting, but a lot of them are the same. Okay, Tucker says, who'd you guys think was piloting Maul's escape ship? Do you think it could possibly be the Armorer from The Mandalorian or another character? Or do you think it isn't even important at all? It seemed to me like it was. Did he refer? It was a female voice, right?
It was a female voice, yeah. I don't know who it would be. It may not be anyone we know.
Yeah, it may not be anybody. What's the name of the other Mandalorian with the yellow visor? There's Saxon, and then there's Cast.
Cast. Yeah, it's not Cast.
Okay, so it's not Cast.
No, it's not her because, in the credits, it's got a different name.
Okay.
Gauntlet pilot, right? I'm assuming that's the Gauntlet.
But Vanessa Marshall plays both.
It is Vanessa Marshall
characters,
voice, but it's a different character though. So
yeah,
it's the same voice actress.
Interesting.
So,
but they're making it seem like it's two different characters.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Besides, but Cass is also, you see her while Maul and Ahsoka are fighting.
Yeah, you're right.
Fighting. So I don't think when they're retreating and Saxon's like, "Hey, we need help," he's like, "Die." I don't think that she's like, "Hey, I'll come and let's get out of here."
Man, you know who I feel bad for? Bo-Katan, because in an episode where Darth Maul and Ahsoka shine brighter than anything that ever has happened in Clone Wars, she had an amazing moment too when she held up the elevator.
Oh yeah,
And she had her fight with Saxon. I mean, in the reaction, hopefully we keep it, but that was amazing and so outshined by the rest of the episode.
yeah.
Okay, let's see here. So yeah, I don't think it's important who was doing that.
No. Funnily enough, my first thought was like, oh man, could be Amelia Clark, but I'm like, no, this is way too soon.
That's too soon.
It can't be her.
Yeah, she would still be on Corellia. All right, Lauren Blair says, when Rick and Calvin react to Season 7, do you plan to show them in chronological order? I ask because in the trivia gallery for Deal No Deal on StarWars.com, it is confirmed that episodes 5 to 8 take place before Bad Batch.
So Ahsoka stuff takes place before
Yeah.
Bad Batch?
Mm-hmm. I mean, honestly, it could even take place before some stuff from previous seasons too, because that's supposed to be like right after Ahsoka left the Jedi Order, you know?
Yeah.
And when you think about it, I mean, she wasn't in seasons 6, and she's left at the end of season 5, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll get there when we get there. We're currently at the beginning of season 5 in the chronological watch with those guys, so we'll see.
But, you know, I mean, it would be interesting to see, like, the Ahsoka thing. And then you get the Ahsoka. It kind of might match. It makes more sense then, too, because
Mhm.
thinking back, the Anakin thing, we were kind of like, man, is he back there yet then? Or is he,
Yeah.
where would he be?
Yeah.
That makes sense if it's all before.
It
Anakin's
does.
there on Coruscant. Then you go and you have the Bad Batch stuff. And then
True.
you go and they've come together. Like, that kind of
Mhm.
works a little better, I think, too.
Yeah, we'll have to do some research when we get there. Yeah, Lauren also has another. Do you guys think you'll end up reading Dark Disciple? The reason we haven't talked about / read a lot of the canon books is because we've had this idea that we want to do a Star Wars podcast in which we do a lot of the canon books. So I've put off reading and watching a lot of extra stuff. So that is why
I have
we
audiobooks I
don't-
want to listen to.
Yeah, that is why we don't talk about it / don't know the answers found in there. But Dark Disciple is definitely one that I want to read because that's adapted from episodes of the Clone Wars.
Yeah. I want to read the Ahsoka book.
Me too.
Quarantine stuff has slowed that down even more so.
Yeah. Kevin says, first of all, I just wanted to say that this is the best episode this season. My question is, do you feel like it was a big reference with Phantom Menace, with the name of the episode being The Phantom Apprentice? But at the same time, the fight scene is Maul and Ahsoka. So, yeah, what'd you think of the name of this episode, The Phantom Apprentice? You think it's referring to Maul, Ahsoka, both? Neither?
I mean, it's definitely the reference to episode 1. The idea there is like, what are you looking at as being the Phantom?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like in
Dooku.
episode 1,
He's an apprentice and he's dead.
he died. There you go. I mean, the apprentice could be referencing Darth Maul, who was the apprentice of Darth Sidious.
Yeah.
And he was dead before, and now he's back, so he's kind of a
Yeah.
Phantom Apprentice. Because we've dabbled with the idea of like, is he Darth Maul? Is he a Sith still? Because he never died.
Mm-hmm.
And like, in order, usually like they have like, well, when Anakin kills Dooku, then he will take the place of the apprentice slot. You know, like.
Yeah.
But you didn't really have that kind of thing happen. So could he be the Phantom Apprentice, or could it be that he is trying to get Ahsoka, and it's more related to like him being a Phantom gathering an apprentice, or I don't know. I kind of want to put it more as it's more focused on Darth Maul as being a Phantom Apprentice.
I will do the same because the Phantom Menace in episode 1 refers to Palpatine, refers to the Sith, and it's like you're fighting something you can't beat because you don't even know what they're gonna do. You know, I feel like the same thing for Maul. Like Palpatine isn't even thinking about Maul right now. He could have fucked everything up, you know. So he's the
if he
Phantom
succeeded
Apprentice.
here, it wouldn't have probably even been a thought. You know, Maul's dead.
Mhm.
You know, and then it comes into the Clone Wars when he's fighting him, and I don't know what happens in the comic series, but it would be crazy if it was something he didn't account for and it ruined all of his stuff.
Yeah.
But maybe he did account for it. I don't know.
All right. Caleb says, have you guys been watching Clone Wars Download on the Star Wars YouTube channel? Lots of interesting piece of information provided by the cast and crew. I haven't, Caleb, but I would definitely check that out. I'm trying to avoid any and all things about like news and stuff like that, trailers certainly. So that might be something I check out after the series is done.
Yeah, because even though sometimes they'll be like, all right, we know from this and this that this is going to be happening. So they start talking about like maybe a leak or maybe trailers that we haven't watched yet or whatever. So
Zayman, by the way, we're thinking of you in your trying times right now, man. But he says, so awesome that we are exactly in the middle of episode 3. My question is, are you planning on watching episode 3 after this arc? Ooh, that would be fun. Like, have the whole arc come out, watch that movie, and then watch episode 3 right after. I would like that.
I'm going to watch up to Utapau and then stop and wait for next week.
Yeah, okay. Do a real chronological order where you have to watch parts of the prequels in there. Rick would love that.
Right?
All right. I am trying to find... there's a lot of questions, but I'm trying to find something that we haven't talked about yet.
Could you imagine like a new version of episode 3 that is like this stuff and episode 3, like weaving in and out of each other, telling the whole story of the Clone Wars and what's happening during this time?
Uh-huh.
That could be kind of
yeah, that would be a cool like editing experiment, I think.
like a fan edit kind of thing.
Yeah, they need to have Topher Grace do that one.
Well, but a good one.
Yeah.
No, episode 1 one.
Richard J asking the real questions. My PP tingled throughout. Did yours? Yes, Richard J. It did. Aaron?
Huh?
Did your
You
PP tingle?
talking about my PP?
Yeah, did it tingle?
Yeah, it tingles all the time. I should get it checked. Yes, it was great.
Gene Galvez says, holy shit, what an amazing animation. I couldn't stop smiling through the whole episode. Also, is Maul foreshadowing the way in the Mandalorian culture by talking about how they're not meant to be hiding in the gutters? I don't know if it's a foreshadow, but it is an interesting link that you make there by saying, like, they don't like that this has happened, but eventually that's going to become what happens to them because of all this, you know?
Yeah. True. It could be interesting if that's the idea.
Lawrence says Palpatine's scream from his duel with Mace can be heard as Maul begins his attack on Ahsoka. That thing? Anakin lands his speeder as Ahsoka says, it's lucky he wasn't with Maul. Ep ends as Vader is knighted. Oh, okay. These are the things that sync when watching the events together. Okay, so what Lawrence is saying, that if you put the two scenes together and play them at the same time, maybe that's what happens. Like, as soon as... So if you take the fight scene from here, and then if you take Mace versus... or Palpatine versus the Four Jedi, and you play them at the same time, Palpatine screams whenever he fights... whenever Maul first starts fighting. Anakin lands his speeder right as Ahsoka says... It's lucky he wasn't that he wasn't with you when she's talking about Maul, right? When she's talking about Anakin and how Anakin would beat the shit out of you, pretty much.
Obi-Wan.
Yes. Yes. And then the episode ends as Vader is knighted. So he's doing a little bit of a Wizard of Oz and Pink Floyd thing going on.
Okay. Interesting.
I didn't realize that so much time has passed that Lawrence is doing experiments. I need to stay up as well.
Stay up later.
Okay, 12 Cat says, if you look closely, it appears that Maul's lightsaber is made up of his old lightsaber that was cut in half and a lightsaber that was going to be used as Ventress's lightsaber in a future episode of the Clone Wars, but then the show was canceled.
That's
interesting. So,
yeah, I didn't recognize the bottom half of it, but the top half, I'm like, that's episode 1. But I'm like, this, but it has like this, I love like the metally, it's almost like a carbon fibery look to it.
Okay.
Which I like because it's very different and metal looking, which reminds me of like the top half versus the bottom half of Maul, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, 12 Cat shared some images here of what this saber would have looked like from like a magazine or something. It says Ventress finally lost 2 lightsabers on Coruscant when they were taken from her by the fallen Jedi Barriss Offee. Yes.
Okay.
So she gets like I don't know if it's green or a yellow lightsaber, but yeah, I'm looking at the lightsaber design there, and then the one on Maul. That's it. So maybe that's some, I don't know if there's any Dark Disciple stuff in there that we can infer, but maybe he gets her lightsaber, or it's just they made it and they had it on deck and they put it together. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
Daniel says, if Maul knows that Sidious was grooming Anakin to be his Phantom Apprentice, quote unquote, this raises the question of whether he knew Vader is Anakin in Rebels. Maybe we'll find out before the arc is over. Thoughts? So does this confirm that when he's talking about Vader and Rebels, he knows that he's talking about Skywalker? I would say yes.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it go both ways. Like I could see Anakin Skywalker being the cause, but maybe not being Vader. But I feel like it becomes a thing where like Vader's known to be taking out the Jedi, so he easily could have that connection. So yeah, maybe it does.
Dr. Winchester says, shouldn't Maul have the Darksaber, or am I forgetting something? No, Doctor. We don't need to have that in this episode of the Clone Wars, all right? We don't. It was perfect, Doctor.
I think in the story after Palpatine comes in, he loses it.
Well, yeah, but then he gets it back in Son of Dathomir. So I don't know. He drops it off on Dathomir.
At some point, it ends up back at Dathomir. Yeah. So maybe he takes it there, leaves it there after getting his saber back. He's like, I don't need this anymore. I don't know.
Jonathan Walters says, man, must have been a real mindfuck when Ahsoka realizes that Maul was right about Anakin. Yeah, she probably went down those stairs with Malachor being like, son of a bitch, he was right. Because that's another thing, like, this kind of takes away a little bit of the separation whenever she realizes who Vader is when she's on that ship in Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, this is a little bit step closer from that jump that she makes, you know? But it still works, and I love it. Zach says, isn't this happening incredibly fast? Revenge of the Sith was over months and months because it starts with Padme saying that she's pregnant and ends with twins being born. Wouldn't that mean Siege of Mandalore took months as well? Well, Zach, I know that it's kind of unrealistic, but Anakin doesn't know that she's pregnant. In fact, if you rewatch the Bad Batch episode, you'll see that she's actually already pregnant. She keeps it hidden through the robes and stuff. No one knows that she's pregnant. So she's really, I mean, I don't know exactly how long Revenge of the Sith takes place, but it's much less than months and months. It could be like 2 weeks tops. Maybe a week, maybe less. I don't know. But yeah, she keeps her pregnancy hidden, and Anakin is in the outer rim sieges for months, so he has no idea until he gets there that she's pregnant at all. All right. Well, I think that's going to be the last one. There were literally 150 more I didn't get to read, but I think we covered most of everything. So we're going to have to end this one because we have other stuff to do today, surprisingly, and I could literally keep talking about it the whole day.
Yep.
So,
yeah, I could too. And we'll get a chance next week.
Yes, we will. We have, thankfully, 2 more episodes. My biggest regret and the worst thing about this was that we didn't have Shane here watching this was probably the best episode of Clone Wars with us. Mm-hmm. And he very much appreciates everybody, thinking about him and his time right now. So hopefully one day we get to hear exactly what he thought. I know that he's watched a couple episodes, but I'm not sure he's watched this one yet. So we'll do what we can about maybe trying to keep a reaction from him there. So
if he can hold off, he can watch it with Rick and Calvin.
Yeah, maybe, but I don't know. That might be asking a lot from him. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, guys, we'll see. We gotta have a poll this episode. What's the poll?
Yes, we do. We need a poll.
When does Order 66 take place? The next episode, the finale.
Okay. I'm gonna say next episode.
You say next episode? I was gonna say next episode.
Ha, baby. I want to say next episode, and then we get an episode of them.
Yeah,
struggling within Order 66 already occurring. That's
what I want too, but I could see it happening in the finale. I don't know. Okay, I'll go the second. I'll go the finale. I don't want it, but that's what I'm gonna vote. All right. So it's very much that the next time we meet together and people have seen the next episode, they know the answer to this. Well, they'll have to know the answer because they've already seen. So we'll keep it short because I don't want someone to come in after watching the episode and spoil us. So we'll talk about just the vote and then move right in. So make sure you get over to patreon.com/blindwave and vote before the next episode releases. The poll will be running all week. So I'm excited, man.
Me too.
All right.
Can't wait. See you guys next week. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on the last 2 episodes of Clone Wars, and so that you don't miss out on Rick and Calvin, who are currently going through meeting Darth Maul in Clone Wars for the first time. Make sure you guys check that out right now. It's over on our YouTube channel and over at Patreon right now.
Bye.